An average 15 years old boy in 2025 has seen a lot more naked women than an average 75 years old in 1980s, thanks to the internet. In 2012, that's like 13 years back, the estimate of the total number of pornographic websites was around 25 million websites, making up to 12% of all websites. In 2022, amount of pornographic website accessible online was estimated to be over 10,000 terabytes. Well, that's huge. In comparison, 10 terabytes can accommodate the entire printed collection of US Library of Congress. Now we are talking of not 10 TB, not 100, not 1000, not 5000. We're talking of 10,000 TB of nothing else but photos and videos of naked human adults that can be accessible just by taking your 20 seconds of using Google. As of November 2024, Pornhub.com, which is the leading adult content and pornographic website, averaged around 5.25 billion monthly visits, with Xvideos ranking second with 3.47 billion monthly visits. This is what I mean. Gone are the days when people hid their Playboy and magazine under their mattresses. This is another generation. Back in the days, to access porn, you had to buy a magazine from a store or rent a tape from the adult section of sketchy video store in your neighborhood. Now, the most hardcore images imaginable are only clicks away from anyone with access to internet. Now, porn is more available, more accessible, more affordable, and more anonymous than ever before, no matter the consumer's age or background. As a result, a lot of people are watching a lot more porn, also more than ever before. There are about 134,491 new website visits every minute, all from the top 3 porn sites. We're not even touching the rest because this video will seem to be giving baseless facts. Today, porn sites receives more traffic than Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and Zoom combined. Okay, now that's a lot of consuming. So how is the supply doing? Well, if the demand is that high, for any business to thrive, the supply must be able to meet the demand. And the Pornhub, which is the leading porn site in the internet, is not bending low. In 2019, 12,500 GB of porn were uploaded to the site every minute. That's enough to fill the memories of all smartphones in Africa 3 times over. And in 2016, enough of those porn uploads were watched from just this one website. Enough that they will fill the data, that will fill the USBs that were shipped to Africa that year, more than 6 times over. So the supply is really meeting the demand. That same year, 91,980,225,000 videos were uploaded. 19 billion individual videos, my God. Videos that are featuring complete naked human adults. That's crazy. Well, until you meet 2018. In 2018, that number jumped to 109 billion, 12 million, and 68,000 videos. That's over 14 videos watched for every person on the entire planet. 5,824,699 and 200 hours was spent watching porn videos in Pornhub alone in 2019. In case you are yet to notice, here we are talking about Pornhub a lot, the leading porn site. Okay, if we try to speak of all porn sites, results will not even mean anything you can be able to comprehend. This is very worrying and not okay in any way, because now some aspects of human values is completely lost. For example, for thousands of years, our ladies, women, have been considered as treasures, something to win and be proud of. Married men are viewed as complete men, and more often than ever, they are envied by their fellow who are yet to get married, right? Well, not in 2025, and certainly not from here onward. Because what made us see women as treasures, something that you just don't acquire before attaining certain states and level of standards, now that what made us think of them as something to admire, that is already available and completely ready to serve at your convenience. Now men of 2025 don't see the need to get married. According to the Pew Research Center in 2021, that 8% of adults were found to be unpartnered, as compared to 1990, where only 29% were the same. Over the past 50 years, marriage rate has dropped by approximately 6%. In America, which is the leading country in the world with the most viewers of porn, one quarter of 40 years old have never married. A higher share of them are men. Of course, there are numbers of reasons that leads to this, but also watching porn is a happy contributor. A lot of factors have been leading to marriage for a long time. Factors like the need for companion, maybe for procreation, and maybe the one that is deemed the most important one, which is sex, especially for young couples. Now, there is something we need to agree on here. Well, porn sites are visited and a lot of times. The average time spent in the sites is around 18 minutes. Unlike Netflix and YouTube, where you can remain there for hours, in porn sites, the goal is usually very clear, and once achieved, only 0.6% of the visitors remains in the site, and 98.6% of the visitors achieve that what is meant to be achieved. That means almost all porn visitors are always alright and fixed when they leave the site, and only it takes an average of 18 minutes. I know you know what I mean by alright and fixed. So if that's the case, then a young man will not see any need of spending his hard-earned money on a dinner date. No need to buy what you can get for free. Porn sites are with them all the way. Men can enjoy the thrill of sex without the responsibility of a relationship. The women in porn are not like their neighbor next door. These ones love sex and never say no. Any type of sex desired can be found in the internet. This leads to men believing that fantasy is better than real life. So this is not to mean that only men watch porn. Women too watch porn, and a lot of them. In fact, the number is increasing in an alarming rate. In 2020, that 1% of all porn were watched by women aged 18 to 34. 1 in every 3 women watch porn at least once in a week. More than 17% of all women on earth consider themselves addicted to porn. In fact, it is believed that 60% more women than men are more likely to search words like hardcore, gangbang, and group sex. Wow, it seems our ladies are the real big boys, huh? The confidence of women compared to that of men during the acting, I mean in front of the camera, is not even close. More women than men are willing to show their faces during the process, and even if both of them are willing to show their faces, women are more likely to look at the camera 77% of all the times. I know this video is not giving you the vibe of a shy girl who is your neighbor. So the reason why I'm not rotating around men is not because women are spared. This is a global pandemic affecting almost anyone that is exposed. Our kids too are becoming victims. In fact, some of the key words in porn search are words like teen, young, and underage. Families too are not spared. Words like stepmom, stepdad, stepsisters, and brothers are used. Workers too are exploited. 30% of adults admits to be looking pornography on a computer at work, and around 70% of online pornography access occurs between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's the time when everyone is at work. That's why porn sites don't fail to bring you videos with titles that have phrases that spell like I did blah 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 to my boss, my secretary did blah blah blah, my boss lady asked me to do blah 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 to her. So what can be done? At a global scale, well, nothing. At a personal level, well, it depends. Besides, no one needs to visit porn sites in 2025. Everything in today's society is sexualized. This is a typical woman working in a public in 1990s. This one is from 2000. Here you have a 2010s, then here comes the 2020s. Typical woman working in public. This advert here is about Vaseline, a lotion in Kenya.
Every day in summer and winter to moisturize from the aging effects of ultraviolet rays. But now you can defend yourself with new UV Daily Defense Body Lotion from Vaseline Intensive Care. Its UV screens help defend exposed skin against age spots and wrinkles. Its unique moisturizing formula defends against moisture loss. It's your first line of defense every day. New UV from Vaseline Intensive Care. Now you can defend your youth at any age.
Billboard are selling sex in the name of their product. I mean, what is there that is around that does not speak sex? If something becomes too normal, it gets to lose its taste. In 2025, Pornhub released its best market in Africa, and Nigeria was first, Ghana was second, and Kenya third. Given that Nigeria's population is more than 4 times the population of Kenya and more than 7 times that one of Ghana, I'll put Nigeria at number 3, while Ghana and Kenya takes the first and the second place. And here I must mention that Ghana, 71% of Ghanaians are Christians. I don't know whether that is supposed to be mentioned here, but yeah, I'm Karakemanji, guest tenor.